Hello tribe, welcome back to my channel. So I find it really comfortable doing my readings in the living room for now. That's why I don't see the ocean candles and my usual ocean vibe setup. Today, I do not know the title for this video just yet. I'm going to find it out once we're gonna be done with this reading. All I know is that I do have these cards as representations of what to look forward to and what we're going to be doing. We will be incorporating books that you see here on a table as a part of this reading. So my aim here today is to dig a little bit deeper and maybe you're going to recognize some kind of shadow parts coming out that you have already faced. Some of you might be facing it right now. I don't know what to expect, but I know that this is going to be quite a mysterious reading and it might take us places. Okay, so pile number 1 is here, 2, 3, 4. I don't have any objects. Use your gut, intuition, which side is your body being drawn to, and I'm going to catch you in timestamps. Hey tribe, whoever has picked group number 1, we're going to be looking at your cards. What I want you to do, first of all, we're going to start with books. And I want you to think of any question on your mind right now, or maybe a confirmation you're looking for. I don't know. There's too many people. But overall, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 3 answers from the Book of Answers, okay? So those might be quite specific. You're going to feel which answer is yours because that's going to be the most suitable in your situation, or it's going to feel intuitively that is for you, okay? You might even find, answers, or you might be able to incorporate messages throughout the situation of yours. Maybe all 3 will make sense for you. Let's see. So, if you need some more time to think about your question, stop video right here. We're starting now. So, one of the answers that we have is keep it to yourself. Maybe not everything should be put out there. Something might be yours, I'm hearing, and you might have to keep it. In other situations, maybe keep yourself to yourself, I'm hearing too, okay? So almost like honor what's yours, what's your treasure. For some others of you, maybe don't give out too much information. And I don't know why, but that's what's coming through. Answer number 2. Respect the rules. So you might be asking maybe about work, education, even relationship in this case. If that was a relationship, the advice here or an answer would be the traditional way. Probably would be a great thing to look for. Tradition overall. For others, if you are asking about business, I'd say maybe take a look at the small font, anything to do with documents. Some of you have, it does seem like maybe I'm feeling cramps in my stomach, either digestive issues, or maybe you just have cramps right now. But those who have any gut issues, I'd say start your morning preparing your stomach, and there can be many ways, okay? And answer number 3. You'll need to take the initiative. So that would be for people. Straight away what popped in my mind was interviews, or if you're looking for a job, maybe push a little harder. Maybe you should put yourself out there a little bit more. If that's a relationship situation, maybe you can be straightforward, what you need, what you're aiming for, what your values are, being quite I don't know. I'm hearing cut the BS as well. So this is kind of an answer, almost reminds me of a Queen of Swords, what the Queen of Swords would do, / Queen of Wands, I'd say, or Kings, right? Almost like, I'm gonna take what's mine, and I'm gonna take the initiative. Whatever comes out, comes out. I don't know the outcome, but all I know is that's something that I want, and let me see where this takes me. Now, we're gonna be digging into the Susan Jeffers book, and I'm gonna do the same thing, something that you might want to look at, we're going to be talking about fears. So this can be talking about maybe some shadow aspects or something that you already went through. If that's the case, this is your pat on the back. Job well done. Okay? All right. Pile number 1. Let's see. All right. Okay. 121 page number. Maybe those numbers mean something to you. Let's start reading. I'm going to finish reading whenever I feel like I have passed the message. So it starts saying, one of the biggest fears that keep us from moving ahead with our lives is our difficulty in making decisions. As one of my students lamented, sometimes I feel like the proverbial donkey between two bales of hay, unable to decide which one I want, and in the meantime starving to death. The irony of the course, of course, is that by not choosing, we are choosing to starve. We are choosing to deprive ourselves of what makes life a delicious feast. The problem is that we have been taught, be careful. You might make the wrong decision, a wrong decision. Just the sound of that can bring terror to our hearts. We are afraid that the wrong decision will deprive us of something, money, friends, lovers, status, or whatever the right decision is supposed to bring us. I want to stop here. It's the same like I've been talking to my clients in the past about having two paths, or having two options, and what should I do? People are too afraid of making the wrong decision. What is the wrong decision? If you are choosing the path that maybe your intuition is not drawn to as much and your intellect takes over, right? Might be a more difficult path. It means you're supposed to be there to learn the lessons along that path, and then you're coming back to where you were. You know what I mean? To where you were. It's not about backtracking. It's about always moving forward. So either you're going to take the path that might be a little bit easier, or you might be taking a path that might be a little bit more difficult, but it's going to have its own experiences that you will need to use in the long run. So it's not a bad choice, right? It's what you still have to learn. So let's come back to this. It says, closely tied to this is our panic over making mistakes. For some reason, we feel we should be perfect. I'm just gonna check on the camera. Can you see it? Yeah. We should be perfect, and our need to control the outcome of events work together to keep us petrified when we think about making a change or attempting a new challenge. This ties into one of the answers we got from the Book of Answers. It says, if the above describes you, I am going to demonstrate that you are worrying needlessly. There really is nothing to lose, only something to gain. So I think that is a good example that I've given you, right? What's to gain in that other path? Whatever the choices you make or actions you take in life, as I stated earlier, all you have to do to change your world is change the way you think about it. This concept works beautifully here. You can actually shift your thinking in such a way as to make a wrong decision or mistake an impossibility. Let's begin with decision making. Suppose you are at a choice point in your life. If you are like most of us, you have been taught to use the no-win model as you think about the decision to be made. The model looks like this. Your heart feels, okay, look, these are the two paths that I think I tried to describe you, right? Okay, the model looks like this. Your heart feels heavy about the choice you have to make. Choice point, right, wrong, wrong, right. You feel somewhat paralyzed as you think about the consequences in life and death terms. You stand at the threshold of the decision, lamenting and obsessing. Should I do this or should I do that? What if I go this way and that happens? What if it doesn't work out the way I planned? What if? The what ifs are out in full force. The internal chatterbox is at it again. You look at the unknown and try to predict the future. You try to take control of outside forces. Both are impossible. At this point, you might notice you are driving yourself crazy. So let's continue. I feel like for pile number 1, I want to continue reading this paragraph. After the decision is made, the no-win model makes you constantly reassess the situation, hoping you didn't make a mistake. You keep looking back and berating yourself with, if only I had. You waste valuable energy and you also make yourself miserable. You gain relief if the outcome is as you hoped it would be, but only temporarily. As you breathe a sigh of relief, you are already worrying that the situation might reverse itself and that it might ultimately prove to be the wrong decision. Furthermore, you are already fearful about the next decision you have to make because you will have to go through the whole agonizing process once again. Look familiar? Crazy, isn't it? Clearly, this is a no-win situation, but there is another way. The no-lose model. Go back and stand at the choice point again. This time the situation looks like this. Choice point, goodies, goodies, path A right, path A right, path B right. So I think when it comes to pile number one, decisions. And I'd say, do not be afraid. Pile number one is afraid to fail. Fail in something that you don't even know how it's going to pan out. Okay? So let's look at your cards. What is waiting for you in the future? And these cards I mostly read intuitively, I must say. And I don't have a box for these cards because when I was moving, I threw it out. And Joey, his channel is called the Joseph Moon, has gifted to me when he was moving out too, because he wasn't using it as much. I think it's better for you guys if I lay it out because the angle is just weird. I hope the light's not going to ruin it. Okay, no shadows, good, okay. So, oh, you see that? Can you see that? So the Ace of Swords, there is a hint already saying you are going to make a decision that is going to take you places, like it might be a literal place. Now take a look at this Magician card over here. Can you see those windows? It looks like this window is the same window that Magician is standing next to. So guys, you are manifesting something and you're thinking about maybe a decision or a goal of some sorts, and you're like, I've made so many plans over here. There is a sword over here, funnily too, right? See that? I love how this ties in. And you're like, let me think about this more. And maybe some of you are looking for a place that feels like home. And all he has to do, this Magician, he already has all the knowledge as well as experience. He should just look at that through that window. Because it feels like here he's too much in his head. He needs to look out. The light is asking him to look outside. What does it mean in your situation? Overall, as a future position, I'd say the light will be shined on where you're supposed to be going next. Or if you are waiting for a light bulb moment, it is coming your way, okay? And it does seem like the way you're gonna approach the situation in the future, if that is something to do with decisions, you're gonna be quite chilled about it, you know? You're not gonna be rushing, you'll take your time. You're gonna be like, okay, what do I need to sort out still? Have I finished my plans? Can I build that house now? Because in these plans, I'm imagining them as if this is a house that is being built. That's how intuitively I'm picking it up. And it would make sense because we have like a castle over here too, you know, these tie in very nicely. Let me take a moment for myself and truly see if the work is done. If it's done, I'm gonna look through the window and see what I have created, almost like what I have manifested. So don't get stuck in nostalgia. I don't know why for pile number one I'm getting this. Don't get stuck in nostalgia. Once you feel like your job is done here, it's time to let that idea or maybe speak those words out into the world. I hope it made sense, pile number one. That was a little bit deep, so I hope this was helpful for some of you. I'm hearing to put some burdens maybe off the shoulders. And tribe, love you as always. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello, pile number two people. So whoever has chosen group two, how we're gonna be doing this, I will be looking at these cards at the very end. First off, what I want you to do is to ask a question in your head. Take a moment to think about it, what it is that you might need advice on or you might want to know. And we're going to be using the Book of Answers. I'm going to be giving you 3 answers. So what I want you to do is to feel which one feels the most familiar, almost. You will know intuitively which answer is yours. I'm gonna give you interpretations because these answers are very straight to the point, what it could be in different situations. And let's take a look. All right, so group number 2. If you need more time, stop the video right here. We are starting. We have don't hesitate. Be assertive, don't hesitate. If you're about to step forward, if you're about to make some kind of important decision, don't hesitate. Listen to your gut. Gut, gut, gut. Okay? Answer number 2. Avoid the first solution. Okay, if you are being drawn between the two, maybe avoid the first solution, but always say, listen to your gut first. What is your gut telling you? I'm also picking up with avoid the first solution, avoid the past situation. Something that you're already familiar with. Because usually, you know what this reminds me of? Usually when we have 2 solutions, we usually come up with a solution that is the most comfortable or known to us, and the second option is usually something that is new. So that's why I'm saying avoid the past or avoid what you're super familiar with. Almost like overall for these 2 answers, I'm getting, you know, step into the new. What is unfamiliar for you? And answer number 3. For some of you, it was that. Did you see how it kind of stopped there? Let it go, whatever it needs to, whatever it is. Others will depend on your choices. Okay, let me tune into this one. If that's your answer, you already know what it is, so you don't need interpretation. Maybe some of you are afraid that other people depend on you. Maybe some of you have children. If you're making a very I'm hearing life-changing decision, you're afraid that your choice might impact other people. I'd say if this is your answer, guys, look at pile number 1, and I think you're gonna find an answer when it comes to those choices, or your burdens will be lighter, okay? You might find an answer now too. I'm gonna do the same thing with Susan Jeffers' book. I'm gonna have a sip of drink. So an answer for pile number 2. It's not gonna be like an answer. It's more so going to be a paragraph that I'm gonna be reading that might be somehow influential, or you might need an insight from this book. Okay, overall this is a great book, guys. I have bought this book when I funny fact, I was about to take a solo trip surfing. Never done that before, and I was afraid of big waves, and I've booked the trip. I was already in the airport, booked accommodation, everything. And when I was wandering about around airport, I still have an hour to spare, and this book just called me. I haven't read this book before facing my fears. I bought it afterwards, and after I've done it, I read it then. So that is interesting. But overall, it touches on many interesting aspects, and it's about fears and why you might be feeling them. It's quite deep. I love it. Okay, 2. Pile 2. Here we go. So we're gonna backtrack here. And we're gonna be reading paragraph. I think we're gonna start from number 5, but kind of want to see what this is starting with. The world is filled with people who have been handed the worst life has to offer, and they have come out winners. I think that's for some of you out there. Probably seen a lot. Okay, so how we're gonna do this, we're gonna start here, and whenever I feel like I need to stop, we're gonna come back to that paragraph before. One of the most valuable lessons in learning to diminish fear is embodied in the phrase, say yes to your universe. These words were casually uttered by Janet Zuckerman, a wonderful teacher of mine, to someone who was complaining bitterly about a particular circumstance in his life. I asked Janet exactly what she meant by that phrase, and she replied, "It's simple. Whatever happens to you in life, just nod your head up and down instead of shaking it side to side. Just say yes instead of no." Over the years, I've incorporated this phrase into my life with magical results. The term universe refers to the life plan that seems to take over despite what we have in mind. That force operating seemingly on its own that often interferes with our picture of how we would like things to be. It refers to a certain flow in our lives and the lives of others over which we have little or no control. So often, when we are all set to move in a special direction, an unexpected event changes everything. Those unexpected events, or even the possibility of the unexpected, sets up for a great deal of fear. We anticipate the worst. It is important to remember, in saying yes lies the antidote to our fear. Okay, so number 5. Be patient with yourself. Don't say no to your difficulty in saying yes. This is one of those concepts that seems easy but requires diligence to put into practice. It is easy to feel frustrated when gloom and doom overtake you. Just keep noticing this. Trust that you will eventually get bored being depressed or upset, and you will then find a way out of the quicksand. Most of us do it anyway. Saying yes helps you find your way much faster, thus vastly improving the quality of your life. One additional tip may be helpful. Start practicing on trivial events in your life. Although they may have nothing to do with fear, they will give you practice with the process. For example, as you sit in your car, fuming because of a traffic jam, a sign on the dashboard that reads, "Say yes to your universe," may remind you that you are saying no. Once you can create this awareness, you can nod your head, relax your body, and begin to use the experience to some advantage. You can use such time to listen to some of the great inspirational audios that are available, or an audiobook you have no time to read. And I think this is a good advice here overall. Would it be inspirational? Would it be educational? Whatever that would be. If you feel like you're stuck in traffic for a long period of time over the week, count those hours together. Even if you're not in traffic, even if you're on a tram, train, whatever that would be, kind of calculate that time. It's good time to do nothing if you are rewinding. I know some people just kind of, if they are not driving, they just meditate, and get recharged. Close their eyes, listen to the music. If you are not one of those people, it would be great maybe just listening to something that you are interested in. Obviously, if you do have the energy. But even if you don't, what I notice would happen to me, I would hear particular sentences that I need to hear, if that makes sense. Then it says, or you can be grateful that for the moment nothing very taxing is demanded of you, to sit back and enjoy the experience. If you are worried that you are keeping someone waiting, remember that there is nothing you can do about it. So you might as well relax. It is a perfect opportunity to learn that in the future you will need to allow more time for unexpected delays. And sometimes, it doesn't matter how early you leave your house, you just have delays. So what I've learned doing over the years is, if I'm already late, 10 extra minutes, if there is no meeting obviously, or nothing is set up, at that time, is not gonna make a difference. I'm late regardless. So I'd go and grab my tea, coffee, whatever, to kind of set myself in a mood for working once I get there straight away. Then, if you are on the other end, waiting, muttering to yourself, "He's late again," focus on saying yes to the fact that you now have an opportunity to people watch or reflect on the day's activities. I'm one of those people who loves to wait. It gives me a rare opportunity to do nothing without feeling guilty. Life offers many opportunities to practice saying yes to your universe. The baby spills milk all over the floor. Your secretary loses the letter you dictated. The cleaner ruins your suit. Get the picture? Every time, I think we're just gonna finish reading this. I'm liking that. Every time, did I miss something? You find yourself resisting what's happening at the present moment, recall the phrase, say yes to your universe. You can rephrase this. This might not vibe with every and each of you. Maybe if you do have a good sense of humor, maybe I feel like some of you want to change this. Stop bitching, you know, whatever works for you, really. You will watch your life become more and more pleasurable. Relationships with the whole world will improve dramatically. Once you master the concept on a day-to-day level, you will be prepared to handle the more serious issues that confront you. You will notice your level of fear slowly starts to drop as it is replaced by a greater sense of trust in your ability to handle your world. As you start to see the possibilities in the impossible, you will begin to see that the world works perfectly. You can find reason and purpose in everything if you open your mind to it. The only time, I think for a lot of you, this is a pat on the back. Maybe that's who you used to be or how you used to live your life. The only time you will fear anything is when you say no and resist the universe. Okay, you may have heard the expression, get into the flow. This means consciously accepting what is happening in your life. I once heard it said that the key to life is not to figure out what you can get from the flow, but rather to figure out how to get into the flow. Or as Barry Stevens titled her book, Don't Push the River, It Flows by Itself. Stop fighting your life, let go and let the river carry you to new adventures by the way you experience your life. In this way, and only in this way, it is impossible to lose. Steps to saying yes. Create awareness that you can choose to say yes or no. Nod your head. Say yes. Relax your body. I know it might be a most difficult one, right, for a lot of people. Adopt an attitude of it's all happening perfectly. Let's see what good God wants to say I can create from this situation. Be patient with yourself. It takes times to adopt a yes. I can't speak anymore. I can't read. My mind is all over the place. I feel like I'm thinking about the cards already, what it has to say. It takes times to adopt a yes approach to life. Say yes to you. Alrighty, let's see what cards have to say here. Pile 2. So that's something that you can expect in the future. I'm reading these cards intuitively. I don't know the name of them because I threw out the book and the packaging, the box. Joseph Moon has given it to me. Maybe he's gonna appear in the comment section and let me know if he remembers. So let me tune in. Okay, overall, straight away, it seems like some of you guys are walking. Okay, wait. Couple of different stories. You are ready overall. Pile number 2, whatever it is that you want to do, you are ready. Almost like, you know how I'm looking at the 6 of Swords over here? The wave is approaching you and you're like, bring it on. Bring it on. I know exactly what I need to do because I'm following my star. And your star might be a goal, an idea, some kind of maybe understanding that you're trying to get to. But overall, there is that feeling and sense of ancient wisdom here for pile number 2. Ancient wisdom. I'm hearing you've done it in many lifetimes before. So if there is some kind of fear over here about, maybe take that wave as a representation of something in your life. If there is a fear of that wave coming towards you, what are you afraid of? This is saying. Are you afraid of drowning? If you're afraid of drowning, you haven't drowned yet. Nothing has happened. What you need to think about now is what is your next step? Are you going to turn your back to that wave? Are you going to dive? What you gonna do? Or are you going to just have fun and go with it? That's what we used to do with my brother when we were little. We obviously not very big waves because I'm terrified of the big ones, but we would just swim with waves. You know, when wave would just start crashing, we'd shout to each other with the wave, and we just go with it. So for me, it just seems like you have 3 options here what to do. Do you want to stand strong and turn your back to a wave and handle, I'm hearing, the resistance? Do you want to have fun with it and go with it? It's going to take you to the shore. You just might get your, you know, hair and your whole face wet. Or do you want to dive and come out on the other side of that wave? What is that? What is it that you want to do? You have options overall. For me, this is a representation of options for pile 2. I'd say choose the one that has been with you all along. So this is some kind of value that you held inside of your heart for a really long time. Because I'm looking at the Strength card and I'm looking at that star. This woman is guided by that star, you know. She's like, this is something that I've known. It's been with me for a long time. And almost like this is her passion. What you need to know, pile number 2, what is happening in the future, is that you are going to be proven that you are stronger than you think. If you think that there's going to be any kind of obstacle coming your way, you're going to be quite creative about it, you know, how you deal with it. And I think for a lot of you, you're just going to be riding that wave, you know. You will start living. Remember how it said going with the flow? You're going to start living and enjoying the journey instead of resisting it. You're going to be like, okay, life's taking me here now. And it's not about completely letting go of responsibilities. That's what I don't want you to think about, you know. Going with the flow all my life, you have to make your own decisions as well. But you're going to notice at times that you are being pushed towards one direction or the other, and you're gonna feel it intuitively. Your body will be telling you that. Overall, this is about some kind of a wish, because we do have stars over here too, and it seems like you have an insight in the future. Some of you guys, what you used to want before, your wishes are going to be changing, and your life will have an unexpected turn that I think you're going to enjoy quite a lot. I'm gonna give you, I think I've done it before, ages ago. In one pile, I've given like an example of how it feels like. So you are an artist, you are painting, let's say, a portrait, and you're using such small brushes. Everything is so precise. It looks so realistic, and it's taken you a year for that big canvas, that big painting to be finished, right? And right on the very last day, when you're about to finish it with spray, you pour some paint on top of that painting, and you go, oh my God, you know, all of this work. So you have 2 options. One of them is to panic and start rubbing that paint, which is gonna probably make it even uglier. The other is to step back and take a look at that clash of splash of paint that is just almost like energy as an addition to that painting, together with a traditional portrait. I think, in my opinion, that could be quite cool. So that is what kind of message that I'm trying to portray here. You had a vision for that canvas, blank canvas, at the very beginning. This is gonna be a traditional, this is gonna be very realistic, right? And then life throws something on your way that is super unexpected, but it somehow turns out even more interesting than you've planned it to be. There is a connection with the sky as well as sea or ocean here for pile number 2, also I'm hearing oration skills. Use your oration skills, your throat chakra. So I hope that this was helpful. This was a bit deep in places. This wasn't just overly specific. I wanted you guys to be taken on a journey and make you feel a certain way by explaining or giving you examples. So tribe, grateful for you and every single one of you here, even if you haven't joined our tribe. Thanks for clicking on this video, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello tribe, whoever has chosen group number 3. Shout out to Tasha, I already know what you've chosen because I posted this on my Insta. Look, how we're gonna be doing this. We are going to be firstly looking at messages from the books, and the cards that you have chosen is going to be almost like a representation of what to expect in the future. First off, I'd like you guys to think of any question that is on your mind right now. And we will be using the Book of Answers. I'm going to be giving you 3 answers. In this book, the answers are very kind of specific to the point. So maybe 1 out of 3 will stand out to you the most, or will feel like, okay, this is my answer. You know, just feel it in your gut. I'll try to also interpret it to what it might mean in difficult scenarios, and let's see what is up. So, pile 3. If you need some more time, stop the video and we're starting. Alright, pile number 3. Stop here. Your actions will improve things. Okay, overall, as you already know, this is saying take action regarding one situation. Maybe if you're asking, okay, will my job situation improve? This is saying you're the one who is in control. So your actions will improve everything that you are looking for. Answer number 2, I'm being guided towards the beginning. Doubt it. Now, if you ask the question, this is not for everyone, and you already doubted about, let's say, okay, what's the example I should give you? A very silly one, okay? Will I be a millionaire? And you know in your gut that that's probably not something that you should look forward to. And what I mean by that is you're not using your heart when it comes to your life path. You know, sometimes people are like, okay, I want billions, you know, and I want beautiful cars and da-da-da. Once they get there, they all realize that it's not about it. And I can tell you guys, pile number 3, I'm not that person who needs, you know, a lot of money, to be honest, but I like to live comfortably. So I'd say 4 years ago, what I wanted, it wasn't a big deal. You know, for other people that would be just a normal thing, but because I was going through so many changes and I was missing certain things, I was like, oh, I really want to live on my own. I was still working. No, I was still studying at that time. I was like, I really want a job that fulfills me, but I also want a job that helps other people. And at that time, I thought I was going to be an architect. And I knew deep down that there is something else out there. And I want to live alone, and I want to travel. These were my things, you know, my main things. Help people be able to travel. Obviously, money is involved here, right? And live on my own or have a peaceful place. I have it all now. And I can tell you, these struggles that you might be going through with yourself, your own shadow work, your own mood swings, your own lack of motivation, it's going to be there even if you're going to reach your goals that you have set, let's say 3 years ago or whatever. There's always bigger goals, you know. Once you achieve this, you're going to have something else, right? You're always going to have something else. So imagine yourself, I don't know why I want to go and talk about this. Imagine yourself living in an amazing house, your dream house, having all the things that you want. Maybe for some of you just want peace, right? Having that peace, for example, you have your own peace, and peace maybe is a place that allows you to feel free. in any way, shape, or form, you have it. But remember, put yourself as a human being in that place and understand that you will still have the same even, you know, period cramps. You're gonna have the same, you know, if you have headaches, you're gonna have headaches. You're gonna lose motivation either way, wherever you're gonna be at whatever level in your life. And the more you climb, if you are a career-driven person, the more you climb up that career ladder, the more responsibilities, right? So the first thing to start with is self. Because you're going to be taking the same person, right? We all grow. I'm not talking about lack of growth. You're going to take the same person who's facing their own little demons, as I'm saying, but just place them in a more beautiful environment, right? Yes, you can treasure that environment, but it's not going to change a lot in you unless you change it yourself. So enough of that. And number 3. Maybe someone just needed to hear that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are like, okay, stop, enough. Answer number 3. The circumstances will change very quickly. So it almost reminds me of an 8 of Wands here. This is all about action, pile number 3. Take action. It almost like screams here in this pile. Take action. For others of you, if you already took action, if you're waiting for maybe feedback, information to come your way, the outcome of some sort, let's say you're working on something for such a long time, it's saying it's going to be shown to you. The outcome is going to be shown to you very quickly. For pile number 3, I want one more answer, because I feel like these were quite tied in together. Maybe someone has another question. Ask your father. So now this doesn't have to be straightforward. For some of you, maybe you're being asked to connect with your father, forgive your father, bonding time with your father. For some of you, your father would appreciate if you've asked him something. Doesn't matter how old you are, as if you don't know how to do something, because at the end of the day, he's your father. He likes to help. For some others out there, there is a piece of information that your father is aware of that you might be looking for. Okay, so let's get into the Susan Jeffers book. I'm gonna have a sip of a drink and let's continue. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I'll feel whenever I need to stop reading. This is a great book. You've seen me use that before, I'm pretty sure, especially if you have been with me for a while now. There is a story behind this book. I haven't read this whole book, but I've read like bits and pieces of it. Whenever I feel like I need a message, I'll just open whichever page randomly, you know, and I would just read about it. But the message about the story of this book, I don't know why I can't speak suddenly anymore, is a lot of you know already about that. Whoever is new here, this is for you. I have booked a solo trip. I wanted to go surfing, even though I was terrified of big waves. It was something completely new, out of nowhere for me to try. And I had like an extra hour spare in the airport, and this book drew me in. And I was like, okay, I gotta get this book. And I started reading this book after, I believe, after I have come back from that trip facing my fears of big waves. I've opened it in the lounge when I was waiting, and I kind of ran through it very quickly, but I haven't gotten in the book. I still haven't read the whole thing. I think I've read like half of it. So this is a book that I feel very passionate about, because it's like a mysterious book for me. Every time it gives me something different. So this is not sponsored. I feel like maybe some of you might want to take a look at it. Let's see, what is your message here? Okay, here. Okay, let's see. I kind of want to take a look at how this paragraph starts. It starts with choosing love and trust. And let's just get into it before we're gonna read your message. It says, do you consider yourself a given person? Think about it for a moment. I asked this question for some of my students one morning, most of whom were married, and they all nodded their heads, meaning yes. Therefore, they were bewildered by their own reactions to the homework assignments I then gave them, which was simply, go home and say thank you to your spouses. There was a distinct sense of discomfort in the room. You would have thought I had asked them to go home and beat their children. Finally, Lottie, who had been married for 25 years, piped up with, why should I say thank you to my husband? He should be glad I'm there. Lottie, why are you there? I asked. Her response was rather evasive, something to the effect that he'd be a mess without me, and besides, it would be too much trouble to leave. I repeated my question after much prodding from me, the rest of the class. Lottie finally was able to acknowledge that her husband gave her a number of advantages: companionship, financial security, and the feeling that she was not alone. I said, fine, so go home and thank him for that. The following session brought the students into class with looks of dismay on their faces. They couldn't believe how difficult it had been to acknowledge the contribution of their spouses. So now we're jumping into your message. It says, so much of what we learn in life comes to us with great difficulty. And for some reason, we have a tendency to want to see others struggle as much as we did. Turn this around and begin giving others as much help as you can possibly give them. Professionally, this can be very difficult. I remember times when I felt threatened by those I felt were my competition, and the tendency was to withhold information from them that would help them in their work. Thank goodness I felt the fear and did it anyway. Some of people I helped have become my good friends and part of my support system. Here too, the giving has to be done with no expectations of return. More likely than not, however, the return will be enormous. One of my students asked what would have happened if one of them really had turned against me and used my information in a competitive way. My answer was and is that if I have enough belief in myself that I will make it, no matter what anyone does, what is there to fear? It's a matter of developing trust in yourself and in your universe. For some reason, when you become a support to others, you become bigger than you are. Moreover, when people use what they have learned from you, your effect is in this world is greatly magnified. I don't know why today in this reading, in pile I think number 2 also, I wanted to share my own experiences as like an example. So before starting this YouTube channel, I talked to one of my friends who has done YouTube before, and he told me, oh my God, Brigita, YouTube is so difficult. If you're gonna get that and that amount of views, you're going to be lucky. And I knew that I'm going to make it regardless. I knew that I'm gonna find my tribe. I knew, like, deep down inside of me. And you see, I was that kind of person who never kind of relied on anyone else's opinion, and that's something that I just can only pat myself on the back, because my gut feeling was always right. And I think for a lot of you guys, it's important to truly gust. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I should create my own dictionary. Really develop your intuition, and I think every time you probably are sick of me telling you that, but your gut is the one that leads you through life, and the transition challenges, it almost like it becomes as an interesting movie to watch, not as something that is driving you nuts because you're so afraid of the outcome, because you will be so trusting that whatever you do, you're gonna achieve, as long as you listen to your inner compass. Okay, so let's continue. I want to read this paragraph too. Give away praise. For many of us, the people we find most difficult to praise are the ones closest to us, our mates, our children, our parents, and sometimes our friends. A lot of the difficulty comes from anger and resentment. Yet in some strange way, when we praise the people in our lives, we realize the negativity and open the door, the negativity and open the door for their being loving towards us. Too many in relationships focus on the negative and have no difficulty reminding significant others of what they are doing wrong. It is no wonder so few relationships are going well. We want our loved ones to be affirming and supportive. It is important to surround ourselves with giving, loving, and nurturing people. This implies the flip side of the coin. You must become what you want to attract. Be kind of person you would want to surround yourself with. And it goes in relationship too. There's a lot of people, saying, hey, I want this kind of person, I want that kind of person. But are you the person that you would want to date, first of all? That's the question to ask, right? Before we seek for a certain image of a person. And it reminds me, I don't know why I want to share so much today with you guys. It reminds me of a chat that I had earlier this summer with my friend. She said to me, she was like, you know what? I was lonely for a long time. She had abandonment issues too, but she's very attractive. She could always get, guys. But it somehow didn't fulfill her in a way, Those relationships were not the ones that she was happy with. And we were walking one day, and she was like, so you know what I did? Because we were talking about the power of writing things down and the power of pen and paper. I was telling her about that. And she was like, yeah, you know what? You told me just that. And I just realized that before meeting my significant other, the one that I'm with, I have written down of what kind of person I want. But first of all, what I said to myself, I am going to be the person that I want to date before I'll meet them. And that's what happened. She started working on herself more, and she met this person, and they are together till this day. So I think it's important to take a look at those aspects too, right? If you are, and I know some of you are not looking for a relationship here, but maybe some of you do, and you need to hear that. You truly in a place where you would even find a place or a time for a person to come in and truly give them that quality time of yours, right? Because a lot of people are so focused still on what it is that they want to do that people start then saying, hey, relationship is a blockage for me. I've been single for X amount of time. Usually the time that we are given on our own is the time to create your legacy or to leave something behind or to focus on other aspects in life. And whenever you feel like you at least have a realization what it is that you want to do, that's when everything starts happening much quicker for you. So I think this example can be applied in different shapes and forms in life overall. If your relationship is stagnant, even if you have a spouse, maybe this is saying, hey, this is the time for you when you should take a look at what it is that you want to do that's going to make you happy. You're going to come back home with different energy, and that's going to change the whole dynamic of relationship. Now, not to say that you are the only one responsible for relationship dynamics, but that can be used also as a energy boost in relationship. But to start with, not doing this because you want the relationship to improve, but because you want yourself to feel better with yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards, what to expect in the future. All right, pile number 3. Okay, what do we have here? I'm gonna get demonetized for this imagery, hey? Okay, so I'm reading these cards purely intuitively, and I don't know the name of this deck because I threw the box out. and this was given to me. So let's see, this is a super ancient vibe. What you are going to be tuning into, I think you guys are shamans, you in esoteric maybe field, or you hold it very close to your heart. Someone needs to hear that. There is a reference to America, so that was something that you've been looking for. This is your message, maybe as a confirmation. For others of you, this is about places very much. If you are being drawn to, and I think that's what you're gonna do in the future, you are visiting a ancient place, or the place that has a very intense energy, and every place has an intense energy, right? It's just different. And I always like to remind people there is a reason why you're being drawn to specific places, locations, if you want to move, if you want to travel, whatever the case, because every place has its own vibe. You might be in need to get charged up by that ancient wisdom of that energy field, to put it that way. I hope this is making sense. And notice how you come back from a trip, or maybe you visit someone, or you move homes even, right? Your energy changes. There is something in you that kind of, I almost like see a clock, you know, that ticks, you know, and it keeps on changing. I don't know, I'm weird in my visions, don't even ask. But overall, it does seem like some of you need to connect to power a little bit more. You have a very seductive vibe. If you are looking for a glow up, this is your pile, man, honestly. In the future, you are super attractive, and it's not about the looks only. This is about the sexiness of your energy. That's the way I'm gonna put it. It's going to pull people in as magnet, but now what comes with a lot of attention is a lot of also unnecessary, or maybe attention that you don't necessarily like, and that's okay. Just know when to say no, where your boundaries stand. But overall, I'd say you might notice sex drive overall too, you know. There's something quite sexual about this pile, as well as this is a seductive witch type of a vibe, I must say. You're being asked to tune in to your powers and abilities a bit more in the future, and you're gonna do it regardless. Some of you might have this connection to water. Some of you might have a connection, I'm gonna be quite specific here, so choose what is yours, to either Israel, Egypt, or Portugal, or somewhere along that coast, you know, maybe even Spain for some of you. Greece is coming out here too. So maybe if you were thinking about maybe visiting those places, this is a big confirmation for you. Almost like there is a higher force, a higher knowing, deeper knowing, ancient wisdom waiting for you to find it. Now, it doesn't only have to be places. It can be maybe people that you're going to meet in the future. If you're going to be drawn to a maybe specific mentor, person, seminar, you know, session of some sort. It's all about developing yourself, pile number 3, in your mission. I think a lot of you guys are on your life paths already, but this has a very strong connection to the intuition and seeing the unseen. Okay, knowing the unknown, you know, kind of spreading that ancient vibe and knowledge to the world here. You are the messenger in this world, and however you want to spread your message, whatever niche of your career, whatever it is that you do, you can work in a regular job, you know, maybe as a cashier even, but what you say to people is what maybe is going to stick with them for a really long time. And then you're gonna be like, oh, damn, you know, these people keep giving me feedback, or they keep coming back to me, or I'm meeting all these people. And then you're gonna see yourself, I wanna say transcend almost, you know. You are on the way to your not only emotional fulfillment, but this is fulfilling your life's path and your mission here. So give yourself a big pat on the back. There is an offer that is coming towards you in the future, And it can be an emotional offer. You're gonna feel very drawn to it. You're gonna be like, yes, you know, I've been waiting for this for a long time now. It can be for some of you some kind of invitation that I'm seeing here. Maybe even an event of some sort. Or maybe some kind of online event that is being held online here. It can be for some of you too. If you're very close to your spirit guides or ancestors is something that comes out here the most as an energy for me. It's saying maybe if you want to honor them, buy something or make something yourself that reminds you of that ancestral energy or that particular spirit that you almost comes through as almost like you want to thank that spirit that has been with you throughout this time. But overall, pile number 3, your spirit guides, your ancestors, you know, whichever energies you're working with, very close to you, almost like behind you. So don't be afraid to step forward, take what's yours, I'm hearing. So hope pile number 3, this made sense. Tribe, thank you very much for coming back. Love you as always. I'll catch you in the next one. Hello tribe, whoever has chosen number 4. So these cards will be talking about what might be coming towards you in the future. And we're going to be looking at them the last. What I want you to do, we're going to be incorporating 2 books today. I want you to think of any question that is on your mind. And I'm going to give you 3 answers from the Book of Answers. So you're going to feel whichever feels like, I'd say it's closest to your heart. Because some of these answers might be interpreted, so I'm gonna give you interpretations too, what I might be thinking this might be talking about. But choose the one that is for you, or it feels right. Or there might be a couple of answers for you. So let's see. If you need to stop the video, do so now. If you haven't decided your question. And we're gonna start. So, pile number 4, what do we have? We have don't wait. So if you're struggling now and if you like, I don't know, should I do this? Should I not? Should I wait? Should I, what do I do? It's saying don't wait. So this can be with some kind of a decision too here, guys. Then we have listen more carefully than you will know. This is basically saying listen to your gut. Sometimes when people are really busy in their own heads or in everyday responsibilities, they tend to hear the spirit or gut a little bit less. I'm hearing quietly. And in order for you to hear the answers that you need to know about, you need to, I almost like call it zeroing yourself. Zero yourself. So take a moment to truly zone out. Zone out and feel, how do I feel about the situation? Not what I think about it, but how do I feel about the situation? My throat is being funny in pile number 4. So maybe you feel like you need to express yourself in a situation, but you're not doing it. And that's something for you to take on board. I need some water. For some of you, I'm hearing your mama was right, I must say. Number 3. Watch your step as you go. So it's all about stopping for pile number 4, almost like, you know, when making decisions, and then take action. So don't rush. I'm almost seeing a vision of someone, you know, rushing to get to work, and they have books and they have files and they have everything, you know, they are so busy, they have coffee in the other hand, and they're just so like hectic that they trip, spill the coffee all over the files, and it's an important meeting. So almost saying take a step back, almost hearing also back to basics. Take a chill pill, because I want to kind of relax in pile number 4. Relax, take a chill pill, allow yourself to think things through, and then take action. If you already have gone through this, take action now. If you took time to contemplate, if you took time to be with yourself, you can start taking action, okay? I feel like there is one more answer. Somewhere over there. Okay, let's see. Twice. Listen more carefully, then you will know. Maybe for some of you, this is a representation of what you might hear. Ooh, look at my table. What you might hear, what I'm about to tell you from Susan Jeffers' book, okay? I'm just gonna let that wax dry instead of rubbing it all over the place. Right, so let's see. In this book, what this book is talking about is everything that everyone is facing. All our fears come from usually not knowing what the outcome is going to be. Even if you are in a situation where you're actually scared, we are scared of something that hasn't happened just yet. Right? So let me tune in. I kind of want to breathe in and breathe out for pile number 4. So maybe breath work would be great, or meditation, because you really need to relax. Some of you need to sleep because I want to yawn. So if you're watching this video quite late at night, maybe after this one, and even maybe now, don't even finish it. Go and get your rest, okay? Let's see, what is the message for numbers? Okay, from pain to power. Chapter 3, for numbers 4. So we're starting from the very first paragraph, which is interesting because for other piles I had to kind of take a look at the intro of a chapter. Not all of them though. So let's get into it. The last chapter revealed a critical insight needed, and that is, if everybody feels fear when approaching something totally new in life, yet so many are out there doing it despite the fear, then we must conclude that fear is not the problem. Obviously, the real issue has nothing to do with the fear itself, but rather how we hold the fear. For some, the fear is totally irrelevant. For others, it creates a state of paralysis. The former hold their fear from a position of power, choice, energy, and action, and the latter hold it from a position of pain, helplessness, depression, and paralysis. The chart on the next page illustrates the concept. From this, it can be seen that the secret in handling fear is to move yourself from a position of pain to a position of power. The fact that you have the fear then becomes irrelevant. So let's get into it. How we hold fear. Pain, power. Helplessness, depression, paralysis, power, choice, excitement, action. You can still, take action and feel fearful. That's why this book is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's not about getting rid of the feeling of fear completely. It's still going to be with you, but turn it into excitement. Because those two, for me, vibe together. There is that close connection between that fear and excitement, like that, I don't know what's gonna happen, and just switch it to excitement. It says, let's talk about the word power. Some people say that they do not like the concept of power and want no part of it. It is true that in our world, the word power has some negative overtones. It often implies control over others and unfortunately is often misused. The kind of power I am talking about is entirely different. In fact, it makes you less manipulative of those around you and certainly more loving. I am talking about power within the self. This means power over your perceptions of the world, power over how you react to situations in your life, power to do what is necessary for your own self-growth, power to create joy and satisfaction in your life, power to act, and power to love. This kind of power has nothing to do with anyone else. It is not egomania, but a healthy self-love. In fact, egomaniacs have absolutely no feeling of power, thus their compelling need to control those around them. Their lack of power leaves them I can't speak. I couldn't speak in pile 3. Can someone take my job? Okay, perpetually in a state of fear since their survival depends on the outside world. No one is more unloving than a person who can't own his or her own power. Such people spend their lives trying to pull it out of everyone else. I'm just checking on the screen if you can see the pages. Their need creates all sorts of manipulative behavior. The kind of power I'm talking about leaves you free since you don't expect the rest of the world to fill you up. It's not the ability to get someone else to do what you want them to do. It's the ability to get yourself to do what you want to do. If you do not own this kind of power, you lose your sense of peace. You are in a very vulnerable place. I have found that women are more put off than men are by concept of power, for obvious reasons. Men have been conditioned to believe that to be powerful is good. Women have been conditioned to believe that to be powerful is unfeminine and unattractive. It is my experience that nothing could be further from the truth. A self-assured woman who is in control of her life draws like a magnet. She is so filled with positive energy that people want to be around her. Yet it is only when she has become powerful within herself that she can become authentic and loving to those around her. The truth is that love and power go together. With power, one can really begin to open up their heart. With no power, love is distorted. For the woman reading this book, a good antidote to any inner conflict between power and femininity is to repeat to yourself at least 25 times each morning, noon and night, I am powerful and I am loved. And I am powerful and I am loving. You can change it to your own mantra, guys. I want to keep on reading because I feel like there's something we haven't touched on just yet. An energetic variation is I am powerful and I love it. Say these 3 statements aloud right now. Feel the energy the words convey. Their constant repetition will help make the concepts of power and love more compatible, and certainly more comfortable. Now that I've explained the kind of power I'm talking about, let's explore how to use pain to power concept in daily life. The first step is to create a pain to power chart as follows. Pain to power chart. Pain to power chart. As we look at the pain to power continuum, most of us can place ourselves somewhere in the middle of the chart. We are not totally incapacitated by our fears, but we are not exactly feeling a great sense of power and excitement, nor are we quickly sprinting to our goal. We seem to be taking the arduous route over the mountain carrying 2 suitcases and a watermelon rather than flying on the wings of eagles. And you know what this reminded me of? Seem to be taking that route over the mountain carrying 2 suitcases is something that I've explained to you. Having files and coffee all at once. As an ancient sage once said, the pathway is smooth. Why do you throw rocks before you? So those rocks is already a representation of what you think that might have happened, that you'll have to jump over. Using the pain to power chart as a frame of reference, you can begin to clear the rocks in front of you. The following steps will help in the clearing process. So you can print screen this if you want to stop right here. I feel like for pile number 4, there are 2 messages, so we're just gonna get into it. There is one more group of people that I need to talk to. So let's see. Okay, paragraph here. Says, throw away your picture. We all create expectations of what we would like to happen after a decision is made. The picture in our mind's eye might have served a valuable function in helping to make a decision. But once the decision is made, let the picture go. Since you can't control the future, the picture can create unhappiness if it's not fulfilled. Disappointment may make you miss the good that can come out of every situation in which you find yourself. Don't forget to look for that silver lining. If you see the outcome of a decision as looking a certain way, you will increase the likelihood of missing other opportunities. Yet, the unexpected opportunities can create more of value than your original picture. If you are focused on the way it's supposed to be, you might miss the opportunity to enjoy the way it is or have it be wonderful in a totally different way from what you imagined. I think for pile number 4, you might have been drawn to one more pile, I must say. If you were, I'd suggest clicking on it. If you are not those people that I talked to before who needs to go to sleep, okay? So, let's see what is coming. I'm reading these cards purely intuitively. I'm gonna put meanings together here too, but I don't even know the name of this deck. I have been given this. Okay. It seems like pile number 4, you definitely, I'm hearing losing something. And losing, what I mean by that, letting something go. This is not about you losing a game, competition. You are losing a burden off your shoulders. That's how it feels like. Whatever it is that didn't bring you celebration, joy, excitement, you're like, nah, not feeling it. Why I'm saying that? Look at this guy over here. It's winter time. That's the way I'm going to interpret this card. It's winter time. It's so cold out there. This cup is probably made of either glass or some form of metal, right? Some kind of metal. And his hand must be freezing. And remember how we talked about the cup and the files? It seems like you need to let go of something. Have you finished drinking that cup? Something that you are finished with in the future, and you probably already know what it might be referring to, that you will be letting go. You're like, my hand is freezing by now. Let me focus on my journey, because I will be able to move through this winter much quicker and smoothly. This has been with me for a really long time. I drank it. I am letting it go, and probably you will want to navigate yourself, towards that colorful sky over there. Because almost like this guy looks like wherever that horse is taking him, he's just going there. That's what kind of vibe I'm being given over here. It seems like you're taking control. Control is in your hands in the future. And maybe before you are like, I'm gonna see what this person will advise me, or how this person will react, where they will take me, or where some kind of external source will take me. What you're doing in the future, you taking charge, you taking responsibility, and you're like, nah, F this cup, too cold now, let me take charge of the situation, right? Let me take charge of the situation. And it seems like it's gonna bring you a lot of excitement. There might be some kind of celebration connected to this, maybe a reunion, friend circle, socializing here that I'm seeing, whining and dining vibe that I am sensing here. So whatever that you might be letting go of, you might also celebrate it in the future, almost like, whew, thank God, that's done. That's what kind of vibe you're giving me, pile number 4. And we have the 10 of Swords here, ending here. And again, I'm looking at the sky here, the sky is very colorful. It almost seems like it's either sun is going down or it's rising up. So for me, it's almost like maybe you were stuck in some kind of a cycle, and you knew that the cycle is going to end, but maybe you didn't have guts to end it yourself, and you were waiting for someone else to take responsibility. And what you're doing in the future, you're like, I am taking charge of my life. So it does feel quite empowering, pile number 4 here, I must say. Overall, it's gonna make you, someone is celebrating some kind of an ending. So it can also be, as simple as graduating, or as simple as, finishing a contract of some sort. So you're like, I'm done with this job, or I'm done with this relationship, or whatever the case really, some kind of tie may have been placed on you before that you are cutting off in the future. You're like, nope, don't have that tie anymore. Let's go and celebrate. But overall, the celebration vibe here is quite strong. Something that you're ending, you're gonna be over the moon about it. You're like, phew, okay, let's go and let's celebrate my achievement of some sorts. So that sounds great, pile number 4. I do hope that this made sense. And think of what this cup is for you that is keeping you in the cold. What are you holding on to? What is in your hands, Because some of you are carrying too much, and it feels like I'm feeling tired in pile number 4. I want to sleep. So what is it that is keeping you up at night or not giving you peace? Whatever the situation will pop up in your mind, probably that is it. But use your own judgment. Your gut knows best, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Bye for now.